Let's get this merch. Subscribe to the PDH Network. Alright, y'all see what we got going on here today. As y'all see the thumbnail, y'all read the title under the thumbnail. Yeah, man, today's video is dealing with you guys, or should I say the PRA ops, who happens to be Yo Gotti, his brother Big Jook, and their affiliate Govin. Now, I know y'all heard the news by now because it's basically floating all around social media at this point, and that's of Govin. Yeah, man, the same Govin, the one who said he orchestrated and paid for the whole Young Dolph setup at Makita's. They just gave that boy a $90,000 bond. Now, once a lot of folks heard that news, it threw a lot of people off because they was trying to understand, how did Govin, somebody who admitted to taking out Young Dolph, get a bond set so low? That was something I was trying to understand until I had to analyze the whole situation. I said, now, if they familiar that Govin is affiliated to Yo Gotti brother Big Jook, and they've been knowing each other for years, but they don't have the person who actually paid for the whole Young Dolph setup. Because again, they know it's not Govin. So they purposely set his bond low just to see who gonna come bond him out. And once they do, they gonna follow the money. You understand? Now, y'all gotta remember, I just told y'all a couple days ago that Govin, he got caught with a cell phone behind the wall. Who y'all think arranged for Govin to have a cell phone behind the wall? And on top of that, who y'all think Govin was in communication with? It had to be Yo Gotti brother Big Jook to let him know, hey my G, don't worry about what's going on out here. You're gonna be out in a couple of days. Because to me, it's just funny how after Govin get caught with a cell phone, which a lot of people didn't believe me, but again, it's funny how a couple of days after Govin get caught with a cell phone, he get a $90,000 bond. Man, that should let y'all know that Yo Gotti, he got the proper people paid in position to make sure that the play on Paper Route Frank go as planned. See, and it's not just dealing with the guys in the streets. I told y'all, man, that Yo Gotti and his brother Big Jook, they got relatives on the Scorpion unit. The same Scorpion unit that made sure that none of the camera footage came up. They assisted Cornelius Smith and Stray Drop to get away in the white Benz. They sat in that parking lot the whole time, watching the whole play on Young Dolph go down. Plus, once it got done, they was the same ones who snatched Young Dolph blue jewelry when he was laying there. It's just a lot of bogus activity went into taking out Paper Route Frank. And it's messed up because Young Dolph, he was doing for the whole community. He didn't mind giving back. And that's why a lot of people respected him. Not just in Memphis. I'm talking about across the globe. Then you got some folks saying another reason why they gave Govin such a low bond is because of what happened to his daughter, Lotta Cash Desto. Now, if y'all not familiar with that story, let me give y'all a quick update. Now, Lotta Cash Desto, she was an up-and-coming rapper out of Memphis, and she got sent up last year in Houston. And with that, you got some folks who believe the reason why Lotta Cash Desto was sent up was because of all the criminal activity that her father was getting into, and it circled right back around to her. And y'all gotta understand, some of that criminal activity has something to do with taking out Paper Route Frank. But again, you got some folks who believe that's why Govin got such a low bond. But still, it doesn't negate the fact that Govin admitted to taking out Young Dolph. So once he admitted that, you had people like me and Jaye and Young Dolph brother, they thought he was going to instantly get convicted for what he admitted to. But that seemed to not be the case. Now check this out. I remember when it was reported that them people stated they got a tip that Govin had been watching Young Dolph 6 months before Young Dolph got sent up. But they never went and questioned Govin until a year later, after all the chess moves had been made with taking out Paper Route Frank. So with Govin being released on bond, this is bigger than what we think it really is. But at the same time, don't give up hope, because everybody who has something to do with taking out Young Dolph, their time is coming. We just gotta be patient, because a case like this, it may not be solved just in 1 or 2 years. It may come close to 3 or 4 years. That's because it's more hands in the cookie jar that we are unaware of. So what you feel about Govin getting a bond, knowing that he was the one to admitting to taking out Young Dolph?
I think that it's really, really suspicious that Govan got a bond at all in the first place, especially considering the fact that when the court considers if someone should get a bond or not, they have to consider whether they're a flight risk, and they have to consider whether they are a threat to the community. Now, if someone is admitting to orchestrating someone being sent up, then that automatically places them in those two categories. And so if I'm Mia Jaye, I'm outraged at this point. Now I have to look over my shoulder with the person that sent up the love of my life being released out of jail. So how is she supposed to feel now knowing that she might be at risk because you have let out the very threat of her family? Also, we have to remember that Mia Jaye has been having to live in fear ever since this happened at the very, very beginning. You had fans blaming her for being involved in setting up Dolph. And then on top of that, she had to realize that she was also maybe a target for the same people who got to him at Makita's shop that day.
And you had young Dolph brother Marcus, he felt the same way. Because you had a lot of people to try to say that he was the one who helped set up his brother, when that wasn't the case. That's not even Marcus Thornton's thought process. He always wanted to protect young Dolph. That's the reason why when young Dolph had the 100 shells sent at him, Marcus, he wanted to make sure that he was by young Dolph's side at all times, because he didn't never want something like that to happen again. So for people to put his name out there like he had something to do with taking out his brother, y'all got to understand how they made him feel. And like she stated, same thing goes for Mia Jaye. She felt the same way. She got so much love for young Dolph. She was trying to understand, why would people even mumble her name as having something to do with taking out Paper Route Frank? Come on, man, that's not right. Matter of fact, before we get into it, let's pay our respects and say rest in peace to young Dolph, condolences to his family, and much love to all my folks in Dolph land. Hey man, while y'all at it, go ahead and drop those Dolphs in the comments and show your appreciation for Paper Route Frank.
And also, Mia Jaye is having to seek legal counsel at this point, because if these moves are getting made in front of her face with her loved one's case, then she has to make sure that there's no foul play happening. Now, of course, we know with most high-profile cases, usually a bond is set in the millions. So this doesn't seem to be handled the same way. And so if I'm Mia Jaye, I'm going to want to use the attorneys that I have on retainer to look into the reason why this is not being held with the same care. A $90,000 bond means that it was set at $900,000 and that is a lot lower than what is typically used for cases like these.
She's right, but like I said, this must be a play that was set up by the feds to see who gonna pay that bond. And again, whoever pays that bond, they gonna find out and connect them to the same ones who paid for the whole young Dolph setup. Cause I'm trying to tell y'all, again, they all know that Govan, he ain't got the money to pay off a bunch of these guys. Again, he may know some people in the streets, but it doesn't mean that he got the funds. So with that, always be aware and always stay prepared. But hey, we got more in store. As always, y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it's worth. Let's get this merch. Subscribe to the PDH Network.